Hey, good evening or good morning, however you want to call it, depending on where you're watching. Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Cardell, Dudley Jr., Wilson, Tarpeh Jr. And look, man, the Wizards knew it was going to be a tough road trip. They won the first two games. Tonight was a little bit of a different story. They ran into the Clippers, and from the first quarter, the Clippers let it be known what type of night it was going to be. Got that lead up to as much as 24 in the first half. Washington did their normal thing. They fought back, but the Clippers kind of kept them at arm's reach most of the game. Every time they got a little too close, the Clippers would respond with a run. They got to the fourth quarter, going into the fourth, Wizards are down single digits. Terrence Mann starts the fourth quarter off on his own personal little run. Next thing you know, a couple other folks jump in, leads up to 16 again. And, the Clippers did what they did after that. They continue to lock up when necessary, score when necessary, and made sure they left this game with the W. Cardell, your thoughts on this one?
It was just an all-around clinic. We ain't even going to waste too much time on this. Paul George set the tone. He was ultra aggressive. He wasn't just ultra aggressive against anybody. He went after the Wizards' best player. He went at Brad Beal relentlessly, and they saw him out. And it was clear they was going to go at him, make him work defensively, and wear him down, especially coming off a back-to-back. They weren't going to let him, get hot and dictate things. Obviously, they came on a 5-game winning streak. They had the Clippers' full attention. And the Clippers are in the business, man. I'm looking, at the final box. And if you take away Marquise Morris 4 for 12 and Luke Kennard is 1 for 5, every player on the Clippers shot 50% or better from the field.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, every player that played, they shot 50% or better if you take away Marquise Morris and Luke Kennard. So, not Marquise Morris, Marcus Morris and Luke Kennard. So that just tells you that the Wizards had no answer for them. The Clippers didn't feel the Wizards, and they flat out just dominated, man. 72 first half points, man. Honestly, the game was kind of over in the first quarter. You could just tell by the vibe, by the energy. After that first period, I knew it was a wrap. Because the Wizards, we've seen them get down before, but you could tell they just ain't had no answer for the depth of the Clippers. It's different than any other team because there's people on the Clippers bench that are longtime starters in this league, like Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris or whatever. Even Luke Kennard was a starter in Detroit for a stretch. You know what I mean? So you got guys that literally started a lot of games, got a lot of experience, and they're coming off the bench and they're 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th man. You know what I mean? That's hard to deal with. The Wizards just don't have the depth to deal with them on top of the Clippers' versatility being their weapon, being their edge over most teams. With Batum, Kawhi, Paul George, that's 3 6'8", 6'9" dudes that could do everything. And they use their size and they use their length and they use their versatility and athleticism to bother teams and swallow them whole, to take away things. Yeah, Bill, had 28, 50% shooting from the field, but for people at home, you can put up a big number scoring, but you don't feel it. You know what I mean? It's like an empty big number because it didn't really have any impact on the game whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Same Russell Westbrook, he had 20 points on 9-18 shooting, a near triple-double again, but you could tell in that game if you didn't look at the box, you'd have been like, there's no way they got those numbers because you didn't feel it at all. You know what I mean? And that was that. Mo Wagner had a great game by his standards, 21 points, 8 of 13 shooting, going back and forth with Zubac or whatnot. But, I just felt like the Clippers they dominated in every aspect of the game, man. And the Wizards had no answer. They were searching. They wasn't ready for that barrage. I look at the bench on the Clippers. They have 4 players in double figures that scored in double figures. Terrence Mann had 12. Reggie Jackson had 17. Zubac had 12. Marcus Morris had 11. Only one player on the Wizards off the bench had double figures, and that was Neto with 11 points. Bertans, they didn't even let Bertans get open. He only got 4 shots. They
They
was
did not.
on 2 or 4. And honestly, once he got dunked on, he was done. Took his spirit. He had 6 points. Troy Brown got in, played 4 minutes. He got a quick 4. Bonga, he had a little surge in the first half with 3 points or whatnot, 1 shot. Denny was a rookie. You know what I'm saying? They treat him like a rookie. It was just all around dominant performance, man. It is what it is, man. The Clippers just on another level, and that's why they're eyeing the championship. And the Wizards are trying to hopefully eye a playoff run. They at 2 different places right now.
Yeah, I think that's the most respectful way anybody could say it. It's literally just what you said. We watched a team prey on a team's weaknesses. We know Washington's done a good job. They've improved defensively, and there's nothing but truth to that. It's a little bit different where you're playing a team, like you said, y'all are on different levels. And yeah, you improve defensively, but to a team like that, they're like it's food. PG's coming off screens off, some of the sets they're running. He's coming off 2 screens. He's by himself. And that's after he knocked down 3 threes. He came out the gate, on bombs away. Like he scored, I think, 9 or 11 of their first 13 points, something ridiculous. Like he came out, and like you said, Cardell, he set the tone early. Like this is gonna be a long night for y'all. I'm not even gonna wait for Kawhi to get going. It's going to be a long night for y'all. Just dealing with me. Then eventually, the Android got going, and you already know how that goes. Both of them is 60-something points combined. Stupid efficiency. They were unbothered by anything all game. And like Cardell, you mentioned, the pieces they have, like there's such a big difference between what they had around them last year, what they have around them this year, where it's a more natural fit. Surge is a really good. That's a really nice piece to work with someone like Kawhi who likes to work in the post or the mid post at times where he's not taking up your space. So when you send the double, Surge can hit. Surge, the midi is easy for Surge. The 3-pointer is easy for Surge. Marcus Morris is not a spot on the floor. He can't get his own shot in. And that's one of the other differences is, you mentioned the versatility of their bench. Almost every one of those guys you named, none of them have to rely on somebody else to get them a shot coming off their bench, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Because most of the times across the league, your second unit, you got a couple guys can maybe create, but Kennard can get his own shot. Reggie Jackson can get his own shot. Marcus Morris can get his own shot. The exception might be Big Zoo, but what he does on offensive glass, it kind of evens that out too. Like you said, we just saw 2 teams, 2 different places. By no means does this mean this loss is catastrophic for Washington. You won 5 games. You're on a West Coast road trip. Right now, you're 2-1. The biggest thing from this is you flush this game and you got to deal with the Nuggets. You got a day off. You got to deal with the Nuggets. In the grand scheme of things, 2-2 on the trip would probably be acceptable. But you're under 500. You should be looking at the Nuggets game like, look, we lost one to the Clippers. Can't lose one to them. We got to end this trip on a good note. But tonight, like you said, it was just a clinic, man. And what they did on the boards was ridiculous. Like 53-38 on the boards. And
not even that. They held the Wizards to 12 rebounds in the first half. My NBA team. They out rebounded them 30-12 in the first half.
Sheesh.
You got dudes that get 12 rebounds in a half by themselves, and as a team, the Wizards only had 12. It was disrespectful, bro. Not even to cut you off. My last thing I'm gonna say before you even finish up, it's the Clippers have a team full of basketball players. Like overall, like when I mean basketball player, they can dribble, shoot, pass, defend, rebound. Washington have a lot of specialists. They're limited. They can only give you 1 or 2 things, and it showed tonight. And that was the difference in the game to me.
Nah, I think that's a great way to end it right there. I think you summed it up perfectly. Again, they get a day off. It's not the end of the world. For Washington, this loss, it can. The biggest thing is you don't let this snowball into 5 losses because then it negates the 5-game win streak. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing here is like no one's perfect. You're gonna lose a game. Not tripping. I didn't I don't think anyone I think I can speak for both of us. Neither one of us were expecting a Washington win here. The Clippers weren't about to mess around and play with their food and everything else. Like you mentioned, coming off loss to the Nets and things of that nature. Not gonna deal with all that. And PG especially setting the tone. He didn't even finish the game against the Nets because of a minutes restriction. So I'm sure that was in the back of his mind. Like I got to get all mine in while I'm on here on the court because I don't want whatever happened the other night where I got to come off in the games in the balance. So you flush this game. Make sure you're focused on Thursday. I know the Joker just had a big night tonight. That Denver team's gonna have a couple more pieces than they had the last time you saw them. But again, you want to finish this road trip off strong, man. If you go 3-1 on this road trip, that's an outstanding trip, man. That's a very good trip. Biggest thing now is finishing strong, and we'll see how that plays out. 48 hours from now, or not even 24 hours from now, since it's technically Wednesday. So, Cardell, if you didn't have anything else to add, we want to thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. Wizards Outlook. See you guys tomorrow night for a G League rundown, and then the following evening again for Wizards Outlook. For Cardell Dudley, Winston Tarpeh, you guys have a great night.